Some might want to say that it was a coincidence, but I don't believe that for a second. In the press conference, the doctor said Bailey had an 8% chance of survival. But if all of these pieces hadn't been in place by the hand of God, I truly believe she wouldn't be here today. That day started out as a regular Sunday. We were at church. It was Palm Sunday. And I get a spam call, which is random. And I just, closed it out and finished with church, walked outside. And I get another call. This time it's from a 214 Dallas area code. And I knew Bailey was running that morning. And I thought, I think I'll get this one.
Pretty normal day. It was in March 2018. It was an early race and it was in downtown Dallas. Parked near the starting line, started running the race, and that's pretty much all I can kind of piece together.
And I answered it, and it was the pastor from Methodist at Dallas Hospital. And he said, your daughter has collapsed at the half marathon, and you should get to the ER as soon as possible.
Around the 12th mile is when I collapsed. A police officer was called over by a doctor who was running around me. Eventually, when another doctor came by, is when I finally collapsed and my heart stopped and they started compressions. At that point, the police officer called for an ambulance, and when the ambulance arrived, my heart had restarted, but it was out of rhythm, so they shocked me back into the correct rhythm and drove me to the hospital, which was about a minute away from where I had collapsed.
So we got on the road really, really quickly and drove very quickly to Dallas. I called Bailey's best friend that had come to see her earlier that day in the race, and called my other daughter who lived in Fort Worth, and I said, please get to the ER. I can't be there. I don't know if they're going to ask you any questions, but Dad and I can't get there for a while. When I got to the room, it was just a tough moment at first. It was a long 3 days with not a lot of sleep, but she woke up that third day, hence the foreshadowing of the Lazarus story from Palm Sunday that day. There are so many God moments in Bailey's story. When the second physician got there, Bailey's heart immediately stopped, and she began with her training at the ER physician, and the police officer started giving chest compressions at that point. At one point, someone grabbed his shoulder, and he looks up and he sees a man with his hand on his shoulder and his other hand on Bailey's leg, just praying over both of them. Then he continues on. The ambulance gets there, not the one he called for, but one was sent sooner that they waved down, flagged down. And a little bit later, he said that he looked up and there were people laying hands on the ambulance.
Yeah, CPR was definitely the reason why I'm still here. I think it's safe to say that. He was properly trained. I collapsed, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and I'm alive basically because they were there and they performed CPR within moments of me collapsing. Several of us in our family and myself and my friend that I mentioned, we all went and got certified right after it happened, just because I think seeing how big of an impact it played in my life, if something happens around me, I want to make sure that I'm properly prepared to handle that too, in case something happens and you need to perform life-saving CPR. So
I hope that after you hear Bailey's story that you are inspired to know more, to do more. I would love for all of us to be really proficient in CPR. I think that it's something that it truly is a life-saving skill to have. I hope that by sharing this, that it encourages others to know that you truly can make a huge difference, that we don't need to just stay in our own worlds and our own bubbles, but to be aware of what's going around us, because there's someone there who might could use our help and our assistance at any time.